Greetings, dancers of the circle. I am Rose with the Temple of Mott Ceremonial Witchcraft, and I am preparing for some ritual tonight that I'm doing for the Wild Women, Wise Women, and Witches membership. But part of what I needed for this evening's ritual included black salt. So I thought I would do a short video of two different types of black salt that I like to make that are easy, and especially if you're a kitchen witch, you'll appreciate the first one. So it's kind of simple, and of course, if you're like me, you save all your glass containers everywhere, right? For little magic jars and such, ingredient jars. So the first is really simple. I simply used a combination of black pepper and sea salt, which I tend to use more than regular table salt. And then just mix them to a certain mix where it's relatively black, but it does function just fine as black salt, because as you think about what we use black salt for, we often use it for protection and for some shadow work. I know people use it for shadow work. It's especially effective for shadow work because you kind of do have the binary, the black and white, the yin-yang kind of balance with it. So this kind of salt would also be good for balance rituals and integration rituals and bringing above and below together with the salt and the pepper. And then, of course, pepper is known for its protection energies as well. So mixing it with salt and making it black salt, pretty much black, is a great, easy, simple kitchen witch way to make your sacred black salt. And like I said, keep all my little jars, and kind of want to show you too, while we're talking about jars, before I show you the second type, is what you can do. You get the jars all the time, but if you notice when you take the label off, you always get that sticky side. So what I usually do now is I just get some white tape to use to mark my jars, and especially my ritual jars and such, because then I can put sigils on them, signs on them for the purposes of what it contains. So just for your black pepper, you can just get you some tape. Of course, I really like the plum sauce bottle, but you could get your little piece of white thing and do it your sacred black salt and draw images on it that symbolize the sacred for you. Okay, now the second type of black salt that I'm going to talk about is somewhat messy, but I especially love it for my ritual with Hecate, and especially any kind of protection ritual or setting boundaries ritual, or my shadow work ritual, or if I'm doing elemental invocations. If I am invoking an energy from this earth, I like to use black salt to make my circle with. It's a sign of the receptivity of the earth, because in Temple of Mott, our binary kind of lets go of that more unhealthy binary of good and evil, and really get down to what are we talking about. Dark and light is not necessarily good and evil, and so the earth is sacred in the Temple of Mott. So this second way, if you have a fire pit, is the best way to get your source for this. But this is simply a combination of an ember from the fire, so basically a piece of wood coal, and sea salt. Now, there's a couple things to be careful with this, because I'm going to show you. If you wanted to fill a jar about this size, this is about all the ember you would need. It really reduces to a fine dust. So that is the caution to, when you're using it, when you're crushing it with the salt, use a mask. Every time you open up the jar, let the air come out a little bit. If it's got too much coal in it, you'll know, because it'll be shooting out black, and you don't want that. So always wear a mask. Do this in a well-ventilated area when you're making it. And as well, I want to recommend that you don't use any kind of wooden pestle, mortar and pestle. Use a good solid ceramic, or this is, the word escapes me. I have a brass one as well, but use it in a metal type of a mortar and pestle, because you don't want it'll stick into the wood. It'll stay in the wood even, and then it might add that color to anything that you mix later too. So anyway, there's a little bit of that. I'm not gonna really pour it out. So this is really good for outside, obviously. And I usually put it in some kind of vessel like this. You know, this is my salt bowl for Hecate. I put it in some kind of vessel and sprinkle it around my circle. And that keeps your hands from getting really messy. And so remember that you need to be in a ventilated area because it can, you know, it can put up a lot of the black fine dust, and you only need a very small amount to do a small jar. And so with that, two types of ways to make black salt that are relatively easy and come from things that you have around your house. And before I finish, I want to share with you, I found this when I was looking through my book of shadows. So this is when I was making a particular smaller jar for purposefully for protection with the salt and the pepper mix. And just a simple invocation that I wrote to charge the energies of the salt. And I thought I would share that with you since I came across it in my book of shadows today. So, salt and pepper, black and white, purification, power and might. Protect me from all harm and foe. Shield me from all wicked and woe. Let naught pass where you are found, before a threshold on the ground. Hecate stand strong with me, as I do will, so mote it be. And I hope you enjoyed this very short tutorial. You'll probably find some other suggestions on the internet about how to make your own black salt, but these are two easy ways to make it. And I have particularly found the ember mixture just feels powerful. It feels like it's doing what it's supposed to do. So thank you for joining us, Dancers of the Circle. I am preparing for a ritual tonight for the Wild Women, Wise Women, and Witches membership. And I hope if you're interested in the goddess mysteries or doing some alchemical work for the feminine divine, you might want to check that membership out. But thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate you. And if you have any questions, as always, just let me know either through Patreon or you can email me at templeofmott@yahoo.com. Thanks.